Welcome back to Drift Delvers. It is episode 8. If you are looking for Under the Table, Live or Let Fly, or Hideous Tomfoolery, you're in the wrong place. Go to the other feeds. You're not at the right place. If you're looking for Drift Delvers, you're in the right place.
We got you.
We can stay for the banter.
It's so anyone who's listened to Live and Let Fly knows is probably chuckling already at how appropriate it is that Adam said the name of that show wrong. Is that live or let fly?
So, that's how you say it, right?
That's the proper name, yeah.
Yeah. Listen, I have a question for you guys. It's a really important question.
Una pregunta, por favor.
Would you rather be stuck in a romantic comedy with your worst enemy or in a horror movie with your best friend?
Horror movie with my best friend.
Romantic comedy with my worst enemy because I can beat the shit out of them for laughs.
That's a great spin on it.
Wait, is the implication though that you're going to spark a romance with your worst enemy in the romantic comedy?
I presumed he was like the antagonist to your
he's
other character.
Your love rival.
Your rival.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
Is that what it is?
Also, you're presuming our worst enemy is male. It might not be, you know.
And then furthermore, is in the horror movie version, is it your best friend and you versus the killer, or is your best friend the killer?
It's the horror of the movie.
No. I wouldn't want to put my best friend in that situation.
See, that's what I'm saying. Because my answer is going to change dramatic based on these specific parameters.
The specifics are not provided.
No, I think it's a flawed question.
My answer, no matter what, is the rom-com.
Some other creature.
I'm gonna go with rom-com for sure.
Yeah, I mean, if I was like the ghost or the demon or whatever the thing is in the horror movie, and my best friend was just my demon pal or my ghost pal, I would do that. That would be cool.
That'd be the only way.
It wouldn't be scared for me because I'm the source of the horror.
Right. No matter what, you can do any variation on a theme you want with those questions, and I'm picking the rom-com 11 times out of 10.
You're going to survive a rom-com.
I'm not in inherent danger in a rom-com.
Right.
You know?
I mean, I can make stupid decisions and be laughed about rather than die from stupid decisions, you know?
What if it was a romantic comedy and horror movie combined?
Well, then the question's moot because you don't have an option. You're just in this movie that Adam proposed.
That's direct-to-DVD bargain bin is what that is. All right?
That sounds like you just described Tucker and Dale versus Evil.
I was just about to say, it's a really good movie that checks those boxes.
Yeah. Okay.
Is that a rom-com?
Just one.
There's romance in it.
There is.
But it's not a romantic comedy. It's a comedy based on a theme of horror. That's not a fucking rom-com.
Dude, it will...
Really?
I think it definitely plays into some of those tropes because they have the scenes where it's like, I don't know.
There's overlap in the...
That's a stoner comedy with a horror setting.
And a romantic comedy.
I cannot think of the last rom-com I watched. I have no idea.
It's been a while.
I don't know if it's the last one that I've watched, but I did watch Date Night. Or Game Night.
I don't even know what that is, man.
Yeah. It ends up getting pretty twisted as they go through it. A lot of you still have your classic rom-coms that are just cheese, but then there's a lot of rom-coms lately that go for these twisted turns, you know, that are just kind of okay, well, they're in a really bad situation, like The Big Sick, you know. I don't know. I don't watch a lot of romantic comedies.
I have a feeling that Adam and Dustin have more recently watched rom-coms than either Heath and John.
That is very presumptuous.
Yes.
That is very...
We don't... For one, neither one of us have to watch rom-coms because we're already married, so we're not going on dates to see that nonsense.
But the likelihood is still so much higher for you.
No, not if you know me and Grace. That's pretty presumptuous about our music taste. We actually watch more horror.
Our musical taste, our
movie taste. Sorry,
yeah.
Yeah.
I literally can't think of the last rom-com that I
Grace
watched.
and I are listening to Romantic Funk right now.
Yeah, I mean,
What's the last rom-com you watched, Heath?
I haven't watched one in a while. I actually like. There are certain rom-coms in my life that like I actually really like Notting Hill. I love that movie. But the last one, I have no idea. I mean, I don't fucking.
I mean, I don't
is
even know.
Wedding Crashers technically a rom-com? Like,
Oh, yeah. I would,
no, ish.
romantic.
Yeah.
It's
Does Barbie count as a rom-com?
No. It does. It just does.
I saw that.
I saw Barbie. Everybody saw Barbie. You know, like
I have not seen Barbie or Oppenheimer.
I've seen Oppenheimer. I haven't seen Barbie.
Barbie was definitely a more fun movie.
Yeah, it'd be hard not to be more fun than
Barbie
Oppenheimer.
is hilarious. Like I
I've heard
literally walked out of there like that movie did not have any right to be as funny as it was because
For real.
it was hilarious. Okay, the last one that Grace and I watched was a movie called You People, and it's as cringe as the title suggests. It's
It's about
Jonah
an
Hill-
interracial
Yeah,
relationship. Yeah.
yeah, and like the black woman's family is like very Muslim, and the white dude's family is very Jewish.
Oh, that's the one that I watched, actually.
I watched that one recently too.
Others,
Yeah.
as it were, huh?
Yeah, it was pretty cringe. It was pretty cringe. I'm surprised you watched that, John, for as hating on cringe as you
No,
are.
well, I didn't. I mean, it's not that purposefully cringe, is a thing
It
about it.
literally
Now, like,
is. Like some of those
mean-
scenes with the parents are like,
Yeah.
you know, like
Sure, yeah, but it didn't make me want to like evacuate my skin. Like,
so.
All
What
right, I'm gonna
cringe
need
does?
you to watch What We
I
Do in
don't
the
know.
Shadows.
I don't
like,
know.
Tonight, like
Yeah,
start it
seriously. Seriously.
You have zero justifiable excuse why you are not
if
watching
you
What We
watch
Do in the
that
Shadows.
fucking
If you watch
movie-
that shit, dude, I don't want to fucking hear it anymore, man. I look forward to your report on the first 3 episodes of What We Do in the Shadows at 8 o'clock in the morning. I look forward to it. I'm going to expect it at 8 a.m. I need to know what you thought of the first 3 episodes of What We Do in the Shadows.
I mean, Zach's like, expectation of your report aside, you would also like really enjoy yourself. That's
That's what I was.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, look, we've gone down this
I'm
road.
triggered,
We've
dude.
gone
I'm
down this
fucking
road
triggered
with
right
John before, dude. Like, I honestly think at this. I used to think he was serious. Now I think he just says things, and and like then he gets put in a position where he has to defend them, and it becomes a whole thing. Because like, how do you not like comedies? 1, how do you not like fried chicken on the bone? 2, I just don't believe it. Yeah, I just don't believe it.
You're just a troll. He's silently
that's
trolling
what I'm
us
saying.
right
It's
now.
yes, that's what I think. Because it can't be true otherwise. You know what I mean? Like you can't be either that or you're an alien, John.
no,
Yeah.
life is more complex than something than just saying that. You know.
Stop! You're wrong. You're full of shit.
You get that pretentious bullshit out of here.
Biscuits have nothing to do with the complexities of life, dude.
People can dislike biscuits, but prefer boneless
you
wings.
can't fool me,
and-
You
John.
don't. You still don't bring
watch
the biscuits
comedies.
thing up. That's an Achilles heel for you. The biscuits thing is you tried a bad biscuit one time. You don't know you don't like biscuits. You haven't tried any that weren't
I know.
dog shit biscuits.
John watched The Office and he's like, "Man, I hate comedies."
I hate these shows. All of them.
no,
Every
never watched
comedy.
Office really. So
He said,
John.
proud of himself.
Yeah, he said.
I'm not saying proud of
continuing
myself.
to
I
dig
just
his
don't-
hole proudly.
I just don't really care for it. I don't think I don't feel like I missed it.
How do
I
you
don't
know
feel
if you haven't
remiss to
seen
it
it?
or anything. I've
How do
seen
you- how do you
enough
have an opinion on it?
clips through
Okay.
just like being exposed to it without
I
actually
can
like
understand not liking The Office. I can understand that. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
but The Office does not equal all comedies. No, nor have you said that.
Okay,
But you've kind
thank
of
you for
you've
putting
kind of implied that all comedies fall in the same category.
No.
Yeah, because you said I don't like comedies.
I
love
mean,
you.
that's
You're my
just
brother.
okay. So if we're gonna go off of that, then yeah. Look. Just because I say, I mean, I don't usually like comedies. In other words, like, there are exceptions to the rule, you know? Like, for example, I like Tucker and Dale versus Evil. That's a great one.
That's a fair statement. Absolutely. Like, I usually don't like this, but there are exceptions. If that's how you had led with it, we wouldn't even be doing this anymore. All we were trying to say is that
don't speak in absolutes.
Don't speak in absolutes. Sure, that's good advice. But like the ones we've suggested and like been livid that you haven't tried or even maybe got stubborn about trying are absolutely the exceptions to the rule in that scenario. Like What We Do in the Shadows is a phenomenal exception to the, like, if you don't like, you know, dumb sitcoms or whatever, this is an absolute exception to that.
All right. Okay. What is it?
Arrested Development is an exception to that rule, you know?
John, I just want to say, man, I love you. You're my brother. I won't give you any shit about the boneless wings because I like boneless wings too. That shit is delicious.
Everybody likes boneless wings.
Yeah, that's not the point of contention here.
I will give you less shit about the biscuit than you deserve because biscuits are great. But I understand you might have had some dry ass nasty biscuit somewhere and it just fucked you up. It's like Will. Like, our friend Will, who's not in the pod, doesn't like Mexican food, okay? Which, that's like, just incorrect.
That's like saying you don't like comedies. What?
That's what I'm saying. You can't not like Mexican food. That is a character flaw. You know what I'm saying? The last time that I hung out, like, with like, I went to Hattiesburg, and I met up. Will was free. I was like, let's go get some lunch. I scooped up, I picked his ass up, and I drove straight to a Mexican restaurant. I was like, all right, we're going to eat here. And you know what?
He enjoyed it.
Fine.
He loved it.
Yes, because not liking Mexican food is bullshit, okay?
Yes, right.
So, but...
Like, motherfucker, you don't like beef and or cheese?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Get the fuck out of here, man. Shut up with that, dude. Shut the fuck up. You're wrong.
That's a character flaw.
It's a character flaw. Okay? And I feel like you not watching What We Do in the Shadows is just simply a character flaw. It's...
Fix yourself, motherfucker.
Fix your shit, dude. Get it together. Get all your shit.
I've been in between like shows as far as like whenever I'm exercising. That'll be a perfect one that I can.
That's
Let
great
me know
for
what you
that.
think at 8 a.m. Let me know what you think about.
Should we bring up Stormlight Archive and throw this back at Zach, or we're gonna not do that?
That would be fair. That would be a fair retort.
Literally is everything that you like about fantasy wrapped up in a great series. There's no reason that you shouldn't have read it by now.
Yeah.
I literally bought you the first book. Like, you have zero excuses.
Seems like we all have character faults.
Shit.
No, I will say with Stormlight, I'll at least kind of give Zach some grace on this one. Because those books are fucking enormous, dude. Like, they're just gigantic books. And so I can see, like, even starting one and being like, man, I don't have the time or you know, the gumption and want to get through like 1,200 pages, you know?
Well, the thing
Like,
I got
I love
through
those
like
books, but they are
400
massive.
pages of like the first book,
Right.
and like nothing was fucking happening that was drawing me in. You know what I mean? Like there was nothing going on that like made me compelled to turn the page. It was like there's a lot. I mean, I know it's a lot of setup, and I know I'm familiar with the concept of the Sandilanche. My thing is maybe I don't like the Sandilanche. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I don't like reading 1,200 pages to watch it all unfurl. You know, I don't know. I haven't gotten there.
I think it would be an easier time for you to do Mistborn. You know,
I mean,
like,
of course it would, but like aesthetically, dude, Stormlight is Zach's shit. You know, it's like that Final Fantasy vibe. You know?
I mean, I know Zach very well, and I also think Mistborn is his shit. Like, it's more like Bloodborne, you know, like the vibes of that universe.
I like both. I really like Final Fantasy and Bloodborne. You see,
Yeah,
I like both of those.
You would like both of them, you know, but
Yeah.
it's less of a commitment and it's less of a daunting task with Mistborn. I mean, I support both of them. I'm not like trying to sway you one way or another.
Maybe I need to get it in audiobook form in order. You know, maybe it would it'd feel more digestible that way, as opposed
That's
to...
what I did. Like I read the first.
Mm-hmm.
I read the first two, and then I got through the third one by doing audiobook.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not bad.
But-
I mean,
but
I will say that you've put in like if you're 400 pages in, you're literally like 100 pages away from the setup part being done. You know what I mean? And like,
you were almost there, dude.
Oh, yeah.
Right
It's like the
there.
meme with the guy like digging for the gold and he turns around right before he strikes the gold or whatever. Yeah.
Right. So like I felt that way when I was reading Wheel of Time, the first book. Like I got halfway through Wheel of Time. I was like, I'm not into this. But I still pushed and read the whole rest of the book. And then I read half of the second book because maybe they'll get me.
Maybe
and
so,
right? It just didn't. And so like if you get through the first book, hell, you got through 400 pages, you didn't like it. That's whatever. You know what I mean?
I got to give you kudos on that one because I did the same thing with the first Wheel of Time book after the prologue. I did the prologue and I was like, I'm good.
He checked out after the prologue.
I read the whole first book and I read about 300 pages into the second book and it just didn't grip me.
I'm just
I know
watching.
A lot of people love it, you know.
I only read the first
Dustin
14 books.
I only read the first
I was about to say, I'm just looking at Dustin in the camera, like sitting there stroking his beard with his big fuck Wheel of Time tattoo on his arm.
I will say, we were talking about audiobooks in Wheel of Time, but the actress that plays Moraine in the show, she actually narrates the first three books.
Bad TV show.
Yeah, it's a very bad TV show.
She was the best thing about that show, though.
She was. She played Moraine perfectly. Every other character's trash. Yep.
I watched like 3 episodes of that show, and I was like, I haven't read the books, but this show sucks.
Something to die.
They basically just took the book and got all the producers from every CW show imaginable and just made a CW version of Wheel of Time because it was all just like angsty, like love triangles and
it's a bunch of vaguely hot 20-somethings.
Exactly. Yeah.
To be teenagers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I want to circle back to the question that we somehow got off of.
I was about to do that. So thank you.
I think the last time that I, watched and I was going to say sat through, but I really enjoyed this movie. Last time I watched and enjoyed a rom-com was probably Silver Linings Playbook. And that was like
good.
13 years ago.
Yeah.
That's good.
It's a really good one.
John is talking with his face like big time, and we couldn't hear anything.
No. I was just saying the last one that I actually enjoyed was Bridesmaids. That was a good one.
Is that it?
It's a rom-com.
Is that a rom-com?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
It's a great comedy. I don't know if it's a...
Is it just a comedy?
It's certainly a comedy. I thought it was more...
So rom-com has to have like two leads falling in love. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like it's not just adjacent to romance. You know what I mean? Like
Bridesmaids is like The Hangover. Like the wedding is just a plot element, you know?
Yeah. Okay.
And it's like really about Kristen Wiig just getting her shit together, and like coming up against like all of her failures and stuff and dealing with it, like it's okay. Well, what you guys didn't fail to do?
Kick some ass.
Kick some motherfucking ass.
3 out of 4.
My other favorite rom-com is Forgetting Sarah. Yeah, you don't get to decide that. Fuck you.
I do.
He's literally the GM. He's like,
that doesn't mean he's not my boss. He's my coworker. But Forgetting Sarah Marshall is still like my favorite rom-com
That's a good one.
ever.
That's a good one.
I love that movie.
That's a really good one.
The Muppet.
Let's get back
my favorite rom-com.
No. You guys did just take out the evil versions of yourselves after having some pretty significant and powerful and vivid dreams, enough so that you woke up changed to some degree. One thing that I didn't tell you at the end of last episode, and I did tell you in between episodes, and now I will tell our audience, is that you have leveled up.
yeah.
I'm doing my best reality like competition.
Dude, it just, I mean.
Okay, I was like, what's he going for? Is this like Alexa like introducing an action movie with the pauses?
I'm excited to not be level 1 anymore.
Yeah, I mean, level 2 is still in the suck, but it's not as bad. And you do get the free archetypes, which helps a little bit. Not much, but a little bit, I guess. The ship is yours for the first time in like 30 hours without something immediately pressing on you. What do you want to do? Like, Subana's pretty... I guess she's not terrible, but she got her ass beat up a good bit. You guys probably want to reconvene somewhere and chat. And, we're going to do a level up episode, but you have to kind of deal with the corpses here, the bodies.
Yeah.
See what's going on with them. Kind of take a minute to take stock of what has happened to you and like what are you gonna do? Maybe check in with some of your other crewmates. I don't know. I really have no idea how this episode is gonna go, so I'm just gonna hand it over to you guys.
We start a tavern.
Co-workers.
Let's go.
We're all gonna
This
go watch
campaign.
like 4 romantic comedies.
Yep.
And one horror.
We got 2 ships now.
Well, the setting is horror, but it's really a rom-com.
Like Tucker and Dale.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly like that.
Exactly like Tucker and Dale, dude.
We've had a doozy of a day.
Okay, I think for Seyun, he was worried he could not find Subana, right? Subana was not downstairs. He sent Gil to look for Subana. So after felling Dark Gil and Dark Raya, he would turn to regular Raya.
You can just say Raya, because
Just Raya.
That's who she is. There's no longer a qualifier necessary.
We don't have to qualify anymore.
Eliminated that.
And he would just say, "Are you all right?"
Do they have a dragon mouth in that fight?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. She'll get rid of that
Okay.
before she answers.
No,
and
I
you-
prefer the dragon mouth, actually.
Yeah. Yeah,
Your accent is more understandable.
rude.
Just
I literally just like.
That's the joke, but
I just hate the Scottish.
No, I love the Scots, man.
But no, she you look over and ask her that, and like she looks back at you, and like, it's every time she like has these evolutionist transformations. That's like I'm in my head. It's always like a Jekyll and Hyde thing. Like she loses some of herself. I've described it as pseudo feral. So it takes her a second, like kind of deep breaths and calms down, and then you see like the bones in her face start morphing and shortening, and the teeth going from like sharp, jagged, triangular, shark-looking teeth back to regular human people teeth. And that takes a few seconds, and then she breathes in. It's like, I think so, yeah. I was really hoping that it wouldn't come to that. I really thought maybe I was naive, but if there were alternate universe versions of ourselves, that maybe we could find common ground, but not in this situation. And she's kind of freaked out that she killed herself, like a version of herself.
Right, and for Seyun's part, he doesn't really know how to.
She's not like hyperventilating
and
or whatever. It's just more like retreat within herself, a little bit like taking it in. But she's like, "Yeah, I'm okay. Let's check on everyone else."
And I feel like at that moment we would probably, me and Gil just kind of like hold me by the hand and just like kind of like has a hand on the back or something as I'm just kind of coming in,
And I would have probably on the comm unit been like, Subana's okay, I got to her in time.
Okay.
Right.
As we were working our way to y'all.
Well, in that case, they would just call,
Mm-hmm.
Can you meet us on the bridge then?
On my way right now. Sabana's a little worse for wear, but she's up and at 'em.
What happened upstairs?
Yeah, just got my ass kicked is what happened. But, Gildy over here, well, he rolled in there like a sassy peppermint and took care of business.
Ha ha ha.
What is a sassy peppermint?
Oh, don't even worry about it, Shug.
It's a peppermint made with sarsaparilla.
I am now
She's
more
light-heartedly and
confused.
lovingly insulting me in a nice and cute way, basically. And calling me a peppermint just because of my skin color.
I'm not insulting you at all. It's endearing.
Well, it's endearing. I agree. I agree to that. But to get back to the point, something has happened to me. That's for sure. I feel some kind of deeper connection to myself and to just the drift. I guess I made it up there a lot faster than I should have been able to. I guess I have some kind of magic powers as well. So when I got up there, she was unconscious, and Tubana was about to strike the killing blow, and I took the killing blow first. So here she is, and we have a lot to talk about.
So that's all of them then. We killed all of the other selves.
So I'm guessing bleaching Gilderon is taken care of as well?
Well, yes, his body is laying in a pool of his own blood right here on the floor next to us. And Sayun points at Gil's body.
And then Gil kneels down and starts rummaging through his own doppelganger's body.
Yeah, that might be
see if we can
useful.
find anything of use, like.
That's so grisly too, because there's just like bite chunks taken out of him.
Yeah. So you search through, if you search through all of them, right, you find a total of 2,000 UPBs. And you also find that they each have data pads on them. And as they are unlocked via bio scans.
Our fingerprints unlock them. Yeah.
Right.
I imagine we tried that and I don't know this passcode.
Yeah.
Well, have you tried the fingerprint?
Right. Yeah.
Okay. So there's a lot on the pad. So I don't know if there's anything you guys want to discuss prior to digging into this. You can do whatever you want. I'm just letting you know that whenever you get into the data pad, there's a lot there.
So I guess before we get into that, is there? I don't know. For Sayun, he obviously knows that we've all been changed. Even though Subana didn't want to admit it, he knows there's got to be something going on. Subana,
sure.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Gil just came out and said, "Hey, I'm casting spells," and so I think that would be something that Sayun would want to address.
I mean, I'd kind of, even though it is something we're gonna have to dig into before we do other stuff, I think in this situation it would be more like go ahead and figure that shit out.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead and dig in what we can learn about them, and then now that they're dealt with and we have learned what we can, then we can kind of recuperate and figure out what we need to do.
Okay. I'm amenable to that, I guess.
Yeah, I guess I'll just give you more information, and then you guys can all digest everything together.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you look through their data pads, and you can kind of put together a plan or a narrative that they had. That before their attack on you, they had opened negotiations with the Vescarium and the Knights of Galarian, claiming to have specimens from a parallel universe to auction off to the highest bidder. So they sent emails to the Vescarium and to the Knights of Galarian saying, "Hey, we got these. You might want to do some tests on these. Whatever. We got something that might interest you." The Knights of Galarian did respond and invited them to Erasni Station. And as you dig through Erasni Station, you find out is a facility dedicated to alternate reality research, and that the Knights of Galarian wanted them to bring you all there to verify the specimen's authenticity, and to continue negotiations face to face. Let's roll some culture checks.
About is this for the Knights of Galarian?
Yeah, the Knights of Galarian and Erasni Station. So
Okay, cool. Because I was specifically the Knights of Galarian. I was like, I don't know much about them, and I would like to know more.
I'm trained in culture.
all right, let's get a roll here.
All right, let's do it.
Yeah, same.
Ooh,
Hold on, I'm gonna roll too.
that is a 2 on the die with a 7 total.
Ooh, yeah, you don't know much.
Yeah.
That is a 21.
All right, that'll do it there, Sabana. Sabana, here's the thing. The Knights of Galarian in your world, you do know a decent amount, right? That they're a military organization closely connected to the Pact World's government. That they worship the goddess Iomade, and they are descendants of the missing planet of Galarian. They're like, they claim to have bloodlines from the people of Galarian. However, as you do some digging further, the Knights of Galarian here are very different. In this universe, the Knights of Galarian are an evil military organization with ties to the Church of Erasni, whom they call the Red Crusader and Unyielding Queen. Erasni's popularity surged during the war with the Veskarium, and she is worshipped by many in the Galarian system who have been subjugated and forced to live within an empire colonized and ruled by their enemies. While the present-day Knights of Galarian feign loyalty to the Veskarium, every knight vows never to forgive the many wrongs war and occupation have dealt to the Galarian system. They search through space and time for the lost planet Galarian in hope that returning to their patron's homeworld will give them the power they need to turn on the Vesk and retake control of the galaxy. So that's like their mission here. Now, if somebody would like to roll a mysticism check on Erasni, we can do that.
I can do that.
Yeah, I think we can all, or most of us can do that.
Yep.
Well, I won't bother then.
20.
Nice, okay.
25.
I'm just gonna see if I can.
I rolled
flex.
another 2.
Nope, I can't flex.
Erasni is, I don't think is actually a Starfinder deity normally.
Okay.
It's like a Pathfinder deity.
Yeah, but what you would know, like, it's like old Galarian histories, you know, that Erasni was once a force for good, this warrior mage that sought to improve the quality of life for residents of her homeland. She survived a battle against the Whispering Tyrant, but she was reanimated against her will as a powerful undead monstrosity.
Oh, wow.
And as such, in this captivity as a Lich Queen in the undead nation of Geb, her view of mortals and humanity in particular soured.
This is really neat. We were talking about this I started running Malevolence as a home game with John and Dustin. We were talking about Erasni before we started, who she briefly was the ruler of Geb in replacement of their leader who abdicated or whatever.
So, yeah, there's like it's this weird kind of parallel thing where they're hoping that they can appeal to Erasni's sense of being trapped by another warfaring nation, and so that's what. But they're evil, you know. The Knights of Galarian in this universe are evil. We can roll a computer's check to kind of dig in on Erasni Station.
So are the Hell Knights like the paladins of this universe, you know?
Yeah, I don't know, maybe.
Computers? Yeah, that's not me or Zach.
Nope.
I got a 17
All right.
total, but I think I can re-roll it, but I don't know if I want to. 17's pretty decent.
Yeah, I mean, this is basic web searching here, so you're not having to like hunt through the dark web for this. So 17 is a success. I was looking for a 15.
Excellent.
You gotta Vest Google it, you know?
Yeah, Vesku. So the Rosny Station is a site that is rumored to have an experimental portal that provides access to parallel worlds. Something that might be very useful to you guys.
We found it.
The Knights of Galarian use this portal to search for a reality where Galarian hasn't vanished. You think that you might be able, if you could somehow infiltrate this station, that you could program that portal to follow their own quantum signatures and perhaps fly through it to go home.
Right.
You know that it is in orbit around Galarian 5, the counterpart to the world the heroes know as Eox.
Oh, okay.
So you know that the station is composed of 3 towers, 1 large central tower and 2 auxiliary towers accessible via a catwalk. The portal is above the station's central tower and is controlled from a nearby room. This is all information that the evil twins have on there. That you know, whatever their plan was, they did some research. They knew what they were going into. As I said, there's an expectation of the Knights of Galarian that these people that look just like you are going to bring people that look just like you to them and continue negotiations that way. So that's pretty useful information, I think.
It is.
It is.
We've found our in.
Yeah, and so that's pretty much everything that you find on there. I can give you a little more history on the Veskarium world. I think you got most of it in your dinner, but just to kind of refresh, the Veskarium conquered the worlds of the Galarian system in 36 AG. So for a long time, Veskarium has been in control. The Absalom Pact obviously never existed. They tried after there was this large battle, and some representatives of the Galarian system came together to try to form an alliance, but Eox was excluded from these talks, and the bureaucrats argued endlessly, unable to come to a power-sharing agreement. One after another, the various ambassadors on Absalom Station gave up and went home, leaving each world to fend for itself against the Veskarium. There were smaller alliances among individual worlds, but such a meager showing couldn't compete with the Veskarium's might. The Veskarium's first contact with the Aslanti Star Empire happened about 50 years ago in 269 AG. The two empires immediately declared war on each other, and the war raged on for 2 decades, both sides evenly matched as they conquered new worlds and engaged in furious deep space battles. Then, 30 years ago, the Swarm came, invading Vesk 4 and Galarian 6, or Triaxis, and Veskarium was forced to go on the defensive, hiring mercenaries to put up a token effort against the Star Empire while focusing their prodigious military might against the Swarm. The strategy worked mostly. Occasional Swarm outbreaks crop up in both the Vesk and Galarian systems, but the Veskarium has lost all the gains it made in the early years of war. The Aslanti Star Empire is now the dominant power in the galaxy. And so that's that is the setting of this parallel universe. You know,
I don't like it.
I don't like it.
I fucking love this.
Yeah,
This is I'm
great.
so
This is
jazzed.
great.
The concept, from a meta perspective, I guess. I really like the idea of the writers getting to play with writing their own alternative history,
Right.
To
The
their
what
own
if
lore.
the Pact Worlds didn't actually sign together?
And it's so plausible. The reason that the pact wouldn't be signed is Eox gets excluded.
Yeah.
Which is in a way you can't fault them. Because it's a fucking crazy undead world.
But they were the
so
first
it's
signatory in the Pact Worlds.
I
in the Pact. First time.
It's really interesting because that at least insofar as all of this space magic craziness can be plausible is pretty plausible.
It's honestly more plausible than you would think of Eox being the first primary signatory.
Them accepting them. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
It's it's just so cool to me. It's they got to write their own Harry Turtledove novel,
So that's all the information that you gather. So you have quite a few things to talk about. That, the dreams that you just had, the power surges that you've gained since you've gone through the drift, and kind of what your plan of action is going forward. Not to mention just checking in with the rest of the crew on the ship.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
yeah. and just like not being under immediate threat of death,
Right.
you know?
Right.
Although we're still in Vesperium alternate universe space, so at any moment, I suppose. Okay, so, I mean, that's a lot, but Raya immediately, like, once we kind of all sift through these data pads, kind of excitedly, you know, turns to the gang and is like, this is it. This is how we get home, or at least get somewhere else.
It's the best lead that we got so far.
I agree. What other option do we have?
I mean, we could try toying around with that engine in there, but I'm afraid of where it's going to take us from there, to be honest with you.
It seems like we are overloaded with options, honestly. We have so many things to handle that I think we should probably maybe focus on something that's a little bit more esoteric and something that I can't quite take my mind off. Did y'all have any dreams?
You know?
Yes.
Satan looks around at everybody else, kind of like, you know, also going like, wait a minute, what do you know?
Yes, I was delivering a speech in front of my entire graduating class naked. No, kidding. But no, she like when you say that, I imagine it's like in the movie of this, it would pan around or cut to like the other three of us all going like, oh,
Yeah,
like
right.
it's like, but Raya's like, yes. Oh God.
Just a quick question. Just to, I'm sorry for interrupting, but was there any butterflies in your dreams?
There.
In a manner of speaking, yes.
Yeah.
How did you know that?
They were fucking everywhere in my dreams, and it
They were
seemed
just
not
banging,
like
just
a dream.
all over the place.
Fucking everywhere.
Reproducing constantly.
I experienced no such reproduction.
Yeah, now that you mention it, that was really, really weird. But yeah, I also had a butterfly in my dream.
I don't know if this is the case, but I feel this has a divine hand at work. I was in the midst of the dream, and I heard a voice fervently telling me to wake up. That was in the midst of all of this butterfly imagery, so I only know one goddess that has a butterfly, and that would be Desna. So I don't know why Desna would have her hand in our matters, but it seems like that's my, you know, I'm a scientist, and there's 4 people that experience dreams that have butterflies, maybe prophetic. I don't know the contents of your dreams, but mine seemed a little prophetic. And not to mention, this kind of has a little bit of similarities to the vision that I experienced in the drift crash. So that's 2 separate occasions where we've seen butterflies, or at least I have, and that's my hypothesis, at least. It's Desna.
I mean, if things just weren't already so complicated, that would just be... It would be just nice if we could just have something simple to focus on right now. But I just don't feel like I even got a lick of sleep, to be honest with you.
On the Adari, there are many Kasatha who worship an aspect of Desna, referred to as her shadow, the silence between, the black butterfly. The image that appeared before me in my dream was exceedingly similar, let's say, to this description. In fact, that was the only thing that came to mind when I saw it. Related, I'm sure, but I am not positive that we experienced the same thing. But that is certainly the sense that I got.
Yeah. Well, in mine there was not a man, a figure with wings. Not, I mean, the wings were butterfly-like. There weren't any like actual butterflies, but that does seem odd. But I'm not super familiar with. I mean, I know of Disney in a general sense, but it's not the gods I grew up really involved with. And I know even less about this black butterfly or shadow or whatever.
Yeah, it seems as though my hypothesis is flawed.
Or it seems like y'all are just more subject matter experts on this than I am. All I had was just a dream where, I was on a space station and there was just these overwhelming dread, but there's also this, I don't know how to describe it, but it was there was this priest, and then it just kind of turned into some big purple winged monster. I don't know anything about that. And then the space station started, it started falling. And
So you all did have brief space station segments in your dreams too.
Oh, that's right. Yes, I seem to remember the first part of my dream was on a space station as well. I was some kind of sleep researcher.
I'm going to do you guys a solid here because there was a lot in those dreams, and I'm going to snip out the little midsections for each of you so you can identify these as separate from your memory part of your dream and then your free archetype part of your dream. Each of you had this small little snippet.
Yeah.
Let's see.
They were all the same? Or?
No, they were similar but different. So Raya, yours was you float in a vacuum outside a small space station with only the stars for company. You stretch out your hand and enter a passcode, Harmony, into an access panel. The airlock opens soundlessly and you hurry inside. Your boots hit the floor in a sharp and sudden return to gravity's embrace. Something waits within this starship, something important, but you can't remember what it is. Have you dreamed about this place? Is that why it feels so familiar? That was yours.
Okay.
Subhana, yours was you stand aboard a space station you know but can't recognize, on an unfamiliar bridge you've somehow seen before. Monsters lurk here unseen, but they weren't always monsters. A purple creature with ancient decaying wings, delicate like those of a butterfly, once rainbow-colored but now mottled and filled with holes, lurches towards you, clumsy and slow, far different from the priest they once were. It tears the world away around you, pulling everything apart. You've seen this before, but you can't remember where. Was it in a dream? Was it real? Gilderon, yours was darkness surrounds you. You look up to see the stars and constellations, congruent little families of burning suns. The asteroids of the diaspora glitter beautifully above. In front of you stands a tall marble statue of a woman with long hair, long limbs, and a long dress billowing around her feet. Her butterfly wings spread triumphant and wide behind her. You know her. Did you dream about her? Did you dream about this place? Are you dreaming now? And finally, Sayun, yours was you walk through the halls of a space station. You've never been here before, but you remember the way. A final turn brings you into a comfortable recreation suite. A small kitchen waits to one side, tables and couches to the other. Doors line one wall. You open one and find a comfortable bed. It's safe to rest here. How'd you know that? Have you been here before after all?
Yeah, I do feel like the other aspects of the dreams overshadowed that a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. and you did all have butterfly imagery
Yeah.
in your free archetype sections of your dreams, you know.
But I cannot explain it. I can't begin to explain it. And,
it's more just like sharing information, I guess.
Yeah,
with your party,
Satan
you know.
would relay that information, but he can't provide any kind of explanation for it.
Right. Just wanted to make sure that you guys all knew what each other knew, right, and kind of shared that.
Yeah, but like, again, what are we gonna do with this information?
Well, I mean, it's not so much that we're trying to solve a problem with it, you know, but we're still so early in this thing, like we're putting together the pieces that our dreams had similarities in some kind of guidance or direction.
Right. That's the crucial takeaway, is that something that is butterfly-esque is trying to communicate with us by sending this imagery or trying to tell us something.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Gilderon is a worshiper of Desna?
He's a dabbler right now.
Just a dabbler? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, he's called on Desna once, and now that he's seen all this butterfly imagery, you know, he's gravitating towards that. But I think in general he was pretty just not devout at all to any god at the start of Drift Elvers. But you know, it's kind of
things have changed.
Yeah, things have changed.
Not a practitioner, but if like you're in like religious company, like, oh yeah, Desna's my homegirl.
Yeah.
Right.
Have you dreamed of your god? I have. She spoke to me.
That's not fair. That's the goddess of dreams. She's. You guys all would know that Desna is the goddess of dreams. Okay, so that's general knowledge.
Is she not the goddess of luck?
You know how deities work in this system. They got a couple different things. Yeah, so goddess of dreams, luck, stars, travelers. That's the Desna situation there.
Yeah, I mean that was my point, is that like, yeah, in a general sense gods can have lots of domains, but usually they have like 2 or 3 that is like, okay, this is the quick notes, you know, the main thing you need to know.
Yeah,
I think dreams is a pretty critical aspect of Desna, actually.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's not, but luck is also like one of the first things identified.
Yeah, like all 4 are aspects, right? So like the stars would be probably where the black butterfly aspect resides, you know, in the like black holes and the in between
space between stars. Yeah,
right. The symbol for Desna is a butterfly with stars, suns, and moons on its wings. You know, this is just kind of some information that you would know. You know,
It may be too early to say, but I have a sneaking suspicion that Desna has some use for us.
See, I thought that there was some more to be said on that dream as far as, and I don't know what it was, because afterwards I was woken up by Tubana. We needed to get some sort of security controls in place, y'all, by the way. And that kind of interrupted the whole jumbled mess that dream was, but I don't know. One thing that I learned though, after getting my ass kicked, was it must have jarred something loose, because now I can control moments of time, y'all.
What?
That is...
Ryan spits out some dragon teeth. What did you say?
So how I imagine this is that the last thing she did before she actually like passed out was blessing a youth. So I figured like maybe she looked a little bit younger, you know, whenever she came through, you know, but just very like temporarily, you know, obviously not anything that's like, okay, well, she's getting younger, you know what I mean? It's not some big
Just got
button.
Shinier scales.
Yeah. The scales are a little bit more shine to them, you know what I mean? For just a moment before they get modeled again, you know?
Well, though I'm not Desnan myself, I mean, in an odd way, it's... if there is something about Desna, or they've got plans, or at least trying to help us out, that's at least somewhat hopeful or reassuring after the chaos of what's happening. We could use all the help we can get. But wait, you said, Gil, something about a space station. Did all of you have a space station thing in your?
Yeah, it's so strange because I mean it's not one that I feel like I've seen it before, but like as far as the bridge, but I don't recall ever being on a space station like that. But it felt something very familiar.
I don't know that I knew the station. I was floating outside of it, but very specifically, I typed in a code. The code was Harmony to get in. So that may be more of Desna's guidance. Maybe we need to know that for something.
Does that jog any memories in anyone? Any recollection? Any?
There's one thing interesting that Subana mentioned. She mentioned knowing something she shouldn't. Almost like it was a glimpse into an alternate reality, the future. I don't really know because I had recollections. Like I feel like I knew this statue with the butterfly wings. I knew more information than I could actually recall. Like the memory wasn't there, but the pointer to the memory was there.
Right, it was some hell of a deja vu. Something fierce. I don't know.
Just add one more data point to the mystery, I suppose. I've got a perfect plan for a bunch of scientists. Let's all catalog our experiences, write them down, put them together, find any similarities and things that we might want to know in the future if this is some kind of vision from Desna or something. And have that on hand and not rely on our memories. We can try to recollect as much as possible and put it down in.
Or we could
just, dream journal.
Yeah, or we could just take this DMT I found over in the garden.
All right, Joe Rogan.
No.
Yeah, I do think that's, just to help you guys out.
I don't know what else we can get out of this.
All right, Zach, you got it?
No. It's not.
That's exactly what I was going to say. So, yeah.
Okay. Was it really?
Yep.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like we're going to talk in circles, because we don't have any other information. I do think it's worth pointing out that Subana has expressed that she has manifested some sort of power. But Sayun's fucking suspicions are confirmed, and he's smug as shit about it. You can't see it underneath his mask, but he's grinning.
No. You see the glint in his eye.
He fucking knows. He knew it the whole time, and Subana acted coy like she didn't know, and he's like, yeah, I told you, this drift crash has affected all of us,
Look, I couldn't be sure. I had to collect data points on that, and frankly, it wasn't until I was able to actually harness the magic that I didn't even think I had it to begin with, So
Same.
I'll give you that point, Sayun. All right.
Oh, speaking of powers, and it's odd to even think about. We've manifesting these things, but is there something on my throat? And I was gonna ask Adam, she had something going with her throat in her dream. Is that visible on the outside? No. Okay.
No. I mean, I don't think that those augmentations are at least that particular one, I think is internal,
Okay. I was just wondering, though, just real quick, would it be... I'm just thinking, could... Because Subana has a little bit of medicine. Would she be comfortable just, a quick physical, touching the neck and stuff like that, just to see if everything is normal?
Yeah, that's fine. Because she should explain to you, there's something in my dream, something manifested in my throat. There's some...
Does it hurt when you do this?
Like an augmentation.
And just kind of turn the head left and right.
So roll a medicine check.
All right. That's a 20 dirty.
All right. Yeah, as you're just kind of putting your fingers, kind of pushing on her throat, where she's pointing to, do you see anything here? And you don't see anything external as you're touching there definitely is like a small little lump, like just under the chin, you know. And when you push hard, you know, Raya, it doesn't hurt, okay, but you definitely feel something else in there, like, and you feel it too, Subana. You just feel that there's like some sort of like
a nodule,
metal biome. Yeah, there's like a knot there, something that pushes. That's not strictly flesh, you know.
Yeah, gotcha. It's really hard knot right here, and I'm not an expert on Triaxian physiology, or Riforian physiology, but we might want to take a look over it, ask the doctor of the crew.
Yeah, I just imagine you, like, you know, kind of clamp down on it, like, does that hurt? And she's like, well, now it fucking does.
How about
this red? It is after you keep poking it.
Yeah, and she's like, yeah, I think that's a good idea. If there's something in there, I want to know what it is.
I mean, after everything we've been through, yeah, I think we should probably all get checked out, to be honest with you.
All right, cool. Well, we'll do that. I mean, whenever we adjourn with this, I'll deal with that.
I think,
right.
I think this makes you know, obviously you have to kind of deal with the information that you got from your evil twins and figure that out. But this was a big thing to digest, right? And I like the idea of you guys also taking some time now to go check with the other people on the ship, you know, and maybe we can work in some level up stuff with that too, just to get some ideas of where that is. And then maybe next episode we could focus a little bit more directly on next plans.
Next on.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Heath, do you want to start since you know where you're headed?
Yeah, sure. I mean, first I'd want to go get checked out physically and figure out what's in there.
So you're going to go to the doctor first?
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, the doctor is another Kasathan. So that's Tahir. I'm sure there's 15 other names, but that's the name that I have.
Cool.
And the doctor says, well, what are you doing here? What can is everything okay with the lookalikes of you? I heard some commotion. I was told to stay here and be quiet. Have you taken care of everything? Or?
Yes, we're safe. They're dead. Unfortunately, it came to combat. They wanted to take over the ship.
Better them than us, yes.
Agreed, yeah. But I wanted to. I feel odd talking about all these changes and stuff. But will you just check me out? In particular, my throat area. I had I don't know how to explain this, but I had an experience, and I feared there may be something in there, and maybe I don't know. Just check this all out. You know.
Open your throat very wide. Let me see.
I wanted so badly to be like, okay, so she morphs her face into a dragon's mouth and just opens it like a foot wide, you know?
Yes, that is your problem right there. Your mouth is a dragon.
Thanks, Doc.
So the doc does an examination and says, well, there is an augmentation in there. You did not know that was there. Usually one is aware when an augmentation gets put in their own body.
No, I've got...
Yeah, so you have a dragon glands right there, the wormling dragon glands right there in your throat. Although it doesn't seem to be operational. Perhaps Lenny can take a look at that for you, but yes, that is what it is there. Does it look like it is infected or inflamed? Does it hurt?
Only when you squeeze on it, like, really hard.
Like this?
Yeah, God,
like this?
Damn it! Every time.
That is normal. When you squeeze hard on a piece of, like, it's a pinching sensation, yes? Like this?
Yeah, okay. Your bedside manner leaves a bit to be desired. Yes, I'll get it checked out. I mean, I've gotten augmentations before, so I don't know. And she like kind of like just gets quiet because she doesn't want to say like out loud that like, nope, had no idea that was in there, and sound like an idiot to the doctor.
Yeah. Well, we use augment for a very difficult situation. It is fine. No, do not worry. But yes, go get that fixed, or else it could cause you problems. It is just that. It is just a augmentation. No big deal.
Right. Well, I guess let me head over and see if Lenny's available.
Yeah, I mean they were all like just hanging out in their rooms, you know, waiting for the.
I think that's more out of courtesy, you know, just like she knows they're not doing shit.
Yeah, so you go to Lenny's like, hey, what's going on, pal? Hey. Looks like wait, are you the good one or the bad one?
Oh, the bad ones are dead.
That's what the bad one would say if they killed the good ones.
You know, I hadn't thought of it that way, but if you notice, I don't have a mustache, and so, you know, that's how you tell.
Right, that's how you tell. You're right, you don't have one. What can I do for you, Raya? What's happening?
Yeah.
It's been a long day. I just woke up, you know, I thought we could get some sleep. I guess we kind of did, but then we woke up. Sorry, I'm rambling. I get like this when I'm nervous. What's up?
Yeah, well, for now, the danger has subsided, so we'll all be able to get some much needed rest, and we've got the concepts of a plan to get us on the way to back home. So don't worry. I just wanted to check, get kind of a checkup. I've got an augmentation. A dragon gland?
Yeah, all right.
Yes.
You got a dragon gland?
Yes,
cool.
I do, but it seems to not be working properly. I mean, I've got other augmentations as well, and this one, you know, and she's lying. You know, she's like, this one I was very excited about, but it seems like.
He reaches up. He's like, "Is this an augmentation right here?" And he
yes,
like
God
pinches it really
damn
hard.
it!
This one, yeah, that's a starter dragon gland. It's pretty good. Yeah, let me take a look. And he pulls out like a mechanic's flashlight. Yeah, yeah, you're gonna have to open wider than that. I gotta get down in there. That's all right. A little bit wider. Okay, all right. Oh yeah, it's just the flamma jam's a little loose. Let me tighten that up for you. He grabs like a very small wrench, and I mean, he kind of just shoves it down.
I was gonna say, I thought this would be more of a surgery situation, but okay.
No, he's like, just make sure that you're keeping your mouth very widely open, okay, and try not to bite. All right. This might tickle the back of your throat a little bit, and he like a little socket wrench and just tightens it up. He's like, all right, that ought to do the trick. And he claps you right on the throat.
It just
right
smacks you on the throat.
yeah.
Just karate chops you.
It's like literally a welt growing.
Yeah, she's gonna have
right
a purple bruise all on her throat.
Yeah. But yeah, that should work right up. Listen, we could go if you want to go check it out. We could over in the cargo bay. I could set up like a little safe area for you to make sure it's working. You know, I mean, I'm Vithani, straight out of the augmented cast. I love it. So like, I'm your guy.
Yeah,
if you want augmented stuff, man.
That would be awesome. Thank you, Lenny. I mean, I've only gotten, you know, basic augmentations before, but I'm quite excited for this one. So if you don't mind coming and checking out, let me test it. That'd be great.
So yeah, you guys can just head over there, and we'll check back in with you in a little bit.
Awesome.
Subana.
Yeah, so I feel like Subana is probably still not shaken, but definitely more wary of what had transpired here overnight. And I feel like she would be going amongst the crew and just checking this. Do we have any kind of security? Like, who's our security?
You do not.
Okay, we don't. Okay.
Sayun is the security.
Yeah,
Sayun is
here
security.
for,
So that she's gonna go ahead and approach Sayun then, and at that point it's like, Sayun, hey, sorry to bother you, but I think we really need to improve the security standards of this ship as far as protocol. There's no reason, and this is not at you, this is just something that we all need to be more aware of. And while we're out in hostile space, we need to make sure that to trust but verify, probably a little less than trust, to be honest with you. But I don't know, I just need you, I mean, like, I just need you to always bring the big guns whenever something happens around here, you know?
Subana, I am not going to trade in my sword for a gun. I'm sorry to disappoint you.
Oh, that was not real. I didn't mean a sword. Yeah, I understand what you're saying, but
speaking of big guns, you do have that anti-personnel turret in your cargo bay that you did set up. It's like, okay, so why didn't that go off?
Great question.
Subana, I have a sneaking suspicion that the biometric locks that are attuned to all of our physiology were bypassed by individuals who shared our physiology.
She just kind of like smacks her forehead at that. Just like, of course. That all makes sense.
However, despite your unfortunate circumstances, the enemies were swiftly dealt with. I struggle to think what I could have done differently.
There's nothing you couldn't have done differently. Really, it just comes down to, I'm just afraid of another incident like this. So basically, in other words, I guess just we need to both be aware that there's a lot of hostility out there.
Yes, you present a compelling point. I cannot argue with that. I will try to sleep lighter.
Right. I just needed someone to talk to on it, you know?
I understand. If you think of any increased security measures, please don't hesitate to bring them up.
I will. You'll be the first on my call list.
Of course. Everything else well with you, Subana?
I got this headache and it just won't quit. I don't know if it's just trying to merge timelines or if I don't know if this has to do with any kind of chronometric anomaly or if this is just your normal headache, but I think I'll probably just go to the doctor and see if he can give me a prescription or something.
Sure. You should do that.
Yeah.
However, I would also recommend you look inward. Try to make sense of these new manifestations. We may have yet need of them.
Trust me, I've been wanting some downtime and it couldn't come soon enough. So I plan on looking inward and maybe even the back of my eyelids at some point.
Of course.
Thank you, Sayun.
Yeah. He I don't know what you want me to do about security, dog. What do you want me to do about security, man? You got money to install cameras on this bitch? Like, what do you want me to do, dude?
I'm not sure if you're aware of the situation that we're in right now, Savannah, but we can't go to the Radio Shack.
There's a lot of things you can do. Gil's about to do them.
Yeah, no. It just kind of fell through once I realized we actually didn't have anybody to security, you know.
You need somebody stabbed in the chest. Just give me a ring anytime.
Yeah, it was just one of those things. Like, if we actually had security, it was like, hey, let's just make sure that we're patrolling all the decks of the station or whatnot, something. But no, we don't got any security, you know. So it's like, okay,
we do.
Okay. I mean, we do, us, you know.
Okay,
We're the baddest MFers on this ship, dude.
All right. So, Gil, it sounds like you have something here then.
I don't think Gil would have anything like planned to speak to anybody.
Yeah,
like,
right.
I think initially he would be.
I would love if we could get to the level ups at some point here. It's kind of what I'm.
His ADD brain, right? Like, everything has happened. There's so many things that we have to look into, do research, you know, all that. So the first thing he does is offload. Creates a list of things that he can do right now. And then he begins doing it. Like, the first thing he does is go to the bridge or the ship's computer, perform an audit of the access controls, and maybe change the biometrics in some way to match with our temporal signatures.
Mm-hmm. You add your quantum signatures to it. Yeah, I like that. Okay.
And then I look at the access controls and make sure they're trimmed down to only people that, you know, require access. I remove all the pirates, you know, if they're still there from the list. I trim it down, and then I make sure like the physical security is like in place. Like the cameras, making sure there's like alarms and and like motion triggered things for cameras. I put out sensor sweeps that will alert us to any incoming ships.
I will say that, like, as you're doing this, you're feeling the strength of your connection to the drift, kind of like helping you with all this computer stuff, right? Like, like you feel like an extra like channel into computers and like and a tap into this, you know?
Yes, which is another aspect of my level up. I did put another rank in computers, so.
Well, you also got your channel skill too, which is another +1 to computers and pilots.
Oh, that's right. So, I'm going through the systems and everything, and I feel like everything's good for now. And I kind of, in my own head, you know, just like staring into the middle distance, just start, you know, wandering the corridors and end up at the Drift Chaos Engine. And I'm just looking at it, you know, I'm not trying to fix it or try to figure out how it functions. I'm looking at it and waiting for inspiration. And I feel like it's just like a daydream state, you know, where I'm looking at this like crazy multicolored drift chaos engine, and my thought is like, as I'm in the daydream, you know, and I can look within a little bit and realize that yes, I do have like a reservoir of like mystic energy that I can feel, you know, inside of me. And that's the first time I've actually reached in and kind of felt this unseen kind of well, you know, that I have within me. And I just sit down and kind of like how you meditate while staring at a mandala, you know? I meditate while staring at the drift engine.
Naturally.
The signal chaos engine.
Yeah, the signal chaos engine.
There
exactly.
Yeah. Love it, dude. Love it.
Yep. And I guess I can talk about my level up.
Yeah.
So, level 2, I'm a mystic. So I got a cantrip and a spell.
You are?
I am! Oh my gosh! But I'm not going to get into the actual naming of the spells.
That's fine.
I'll get
That's
to them
fine.
when I use them. But other than that...
Yeah, the other main thing you got was the channel.
Yeah,
skill.
the channel, and then the special ability of my sleep researcher archetype, which will come into play, I'm sure, at one point.
For sure.
For sure.
Yeah, he's sitting there and kind of absorbing that experience that he's had for the last, you know, day and a half, and just kind of like letting intuition guide him. Yeah, so that's what he's doing.
Let's go back to Heath, down in the cargo bay, doing a little test run.
Yeah, I think Raya and Lenny are gonna become good friends. So she goes, and you know, they spend, I guess, like 30 minutes or whatever just kind of setting up an area. And my thought was that they get it set up, and Lenny's like, all right, well, let's, let her rip. See how it does. And she doesn't really know how to activate it, so she has to kind of like focus and think, and he's sitting there just like awkwardly waiting, like, come on, do it.
Right, yeah. Like, it's just, you just engage the gland. Come on, you got this.
Yeah.
Right.
Just flex your appendix,
You just, you gotta let the uvula move a little.
Yeah, and she's like, there's a good like minute there where she's like sitting there trying, and she's like, just like swallows real hard, and then just like, bleh.
You want me to pinch it? Sometimes that helps.
I almost said no, it hurts.
Right.
You guys have destroyed my vocal cords. My accent changed.
Just relax.
Okay.
And then just open your mouth and let it rip. It wants to work with your body. These augmentations, they want to work with your body. You just got to let go.
Okay. And she like closes her eyes, like takes a couple of deep breaths. And so I think because this is new and because she's a new evolutionist, she goes to, she focuses herself, and then she's like, okay, just do it, and opens her mouth and expels, this dragon wormling gland does ice or cold damage, right?
Nice.
And so it shoots out this like cone of like crystallized sharp ice, and but because she's still new at controlling her evolutionist stuff, they had been kind of cagey about revealing any of their power stuff to people, and she kind of rips the Band-Aid off on accident, because in trying to activate the gland, she does so, but her mouth starts to turn dragon as her mouth is open,
That is not part of the augmentation. What the fuck is that? I mean, it's cool. Like, I like it. I just a little surprised. Gotta say, that is not what I expected to happen.
Yeah, and when she finishes expelling the cone of ice, Lenny says that and is looking at her, a beautiful Riforian woman with a dragon mouth, looking just absolutely abashed, just like, But
I know. Look, it's just you're just as beautiful. All right, it's cool. Like I like it. It just kind of startled me.
Yeah.
But don't be ashamed. This is awesome.
Yeah.
Is that how you defeated your evil self?
Yeah, and
did you eat yourself?
I ate more of Gil. I didn't eat.
Well, either way,
I didn't eat anyone. I just bit them a little.
All right. Well, whatever.
But she has to focus on it and make her mouth like shift back into her normal form. And she says, all right, Lenny, I had been trying to, I didn't want to scare anyone, but it seems that I'm an evolutionist.
I mean, yeah, I'd say that you pretty much are. I haven't seen many. It's kind of a new thing that's happening, and I certainly didn't expect any of you guys to have you always been an evolution? When did this happen?
No, I haven't. It's a recent development. It surprised me as much as it's surprising you now.
I wonder if I could do it. And he starts going,
try. Flex your uvula.
No, it's not. It's not working. It's cool. It's good for us to have. Obviously, we're not entirely safe out here. We're just a bunch of scientists, but from what I can tell, some of you guys have got some of that kung fu fighting skills. I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and she looks relieved. Kind of one of those things like when you've got a secret that you're holding on to and it gets revealed. Mm-hmm. It's the scariest thing in the world, but then it's like, oh, thank God.
I mean, of all the people that she could have led with, Lenny's like all about it.
Right.
You know what I mean? So like, yeah.
I love that dynamic. And so she turns to Lenny and says, so these powers are transformations they're quite new, and I don't have a lot of practice controlling them. And you helped me out with the augmentation, which I needed practice with, but I need practice with managing and controlling and just having a sense of power over my powers. So we've already got this thing set up. Would you mind?
I mean, look, I'm here to hang. I like a good hang, you know, and you're cool and getting sexier by the minute, if you ask me. But look, I'm not trying to overstep.
He's got a dragon kink.
Yeah, I'm not trying to overstep or anything, but like, I don't know a lot about evolutionists. I mean, I'm here to help however you want. Like, we can make sure that the area stays safe or whatever. What did you have in mind? I don't know the next thing about turning into a dragon.
Yes, but what you do have experience with is augmentations, which I now have, but also just the mechanical workings of things. And I was thinking maybe you could set up like a gym of sorts, like set up some dummies, and I need to practice using these powers.
Yeah, right. Well, he's like, I guess we could take this crate right here, and we could take this barrel right here, and he puts it on top of it. I mean, it's not the best looking dummy, but I got a square body and a round head.
Yeah, well, and we can work on it over time.
Yeah,
and I think
I'll paint it. I'll put a smiley face on it. You know.
Yeah, and I think Lenny being as accommodating as he is, I think it's like training montage time. You know, like she's like, well, let me show you what I can do, and so she starts kind of going after these dummies and morphing. And so to get into my level up. First of all, let's start with the dragon gland that I got. Now, evolutionists don't inherently get dragon glands, but they do at level 2 get augmented form. And so your body eagerly accepts new augmentations, even creating some of the components out of your own flesh, which is really neat that like she sort of in a dream was granted this and was like, something magical gave me this. And maybe there's some of that, but it's also, no, like her body partially created this dragon gland, you know? And so that's very cool because it gives me a free augmentation of the type associated with my niche. My niche is vital, and so my augmentation types are biotech, right? So organic tech fusions. And I can replace it every time I gain a level. I can switch out new augmentations.
Sweet.
And I get a discount on specifically biotech augmentations are 10% cheaper.
That's great.
But through the course, so she practices using that, but she also, they set up these dummies and sort of training ground or whatever, and she starts morphing different parts of her body into draconic versions. And elongating those arms and like growing a tail, and she's really just trying to do everything she can and figure out how to control it. And so she figures out after practicing for a little bit that she has a degree of control over the sort of range. Even though she's not a ranged combatant, she can she can lengthen her arms or legs or tail or whatever, because at level 2, I also got an evolutionist adaptation, which you get to pick from a list of different adaptations. I got distant strikes. And distant strikes lets me increase the range increment of my, not my range. Sorry. It lets me, as a swift action, spend one of my mutation points to basically give myself reach. Right? You could, if you were ranged, you could increase your range increment by 100%, or melee, you can give your weapon the reach weapon special property. So I can spend a mutation point and have a 10-foot reach, which is really neat. Yeah, very, very excited about that. And then the last thing, and this I thought provides an opportunity for cool little narrative stuff. I got Fulcrum at level 2. You create a unique talisman, memento, or accessory called a Fulcrum. It helps you channel your energies into your strikes. Essentially what it does is it lets you apply fusions and fusion seals to your Fulcrum, which will then be magically channeled into my adaptive strikes, right?
It's cool.
And so my thought was, she's a follower of Iomedae, and grew up worshiping Iomedae, and I mentioned in her cabin, like she has this little sort of statuette, right? And it's a an idol to Iomade, but it's a sword. It's like a metal or maybe brass sword with a sunburst behind it, right? And so I think she's got a version of that she probably carries around with her, just like people would, have a rosary or whatever. And she can use that as her fulcrum, maybe pins it onto her armor or whatever. And with Lenny's help, right? I like, it being maybe Lenny helps her figure out the techno-magical aspect of being able to channel fusions and fusion seals into that item to use them for her adaptive strike.
Very, very cool.
Yep.
Very, very cool. Thank you, Heath. John, let's go back to Subana.
So Subana is going to wander down the halls until she kind of almost feels like she's being pulled in by the colors that I feel like are like leaking out of the chaos, the signal chaos engine room. Is Gilderon still there?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I guess she would kind of like be kind of quiet, but like with the intent that she does have to interrupt him. She hates to do it, but she just kind of like knocks on the door frame and say, "Hey, Gildy, you alive over there?"
Oh yes. Come on in, Sue.
Sure.
What can I do for you?
It's entrancing, isn't it? This engine, isn't it?
It sure is. Took the word right out of my mouth. Like, it's a wonder.
It's
a
very
miracle.
colorful. It's very colorful. I'll give you that. And I don't understand a thing on how it works, but this is way different from what I've seen on other ships.
You know what? I feel the same way.
Yeah.
I have no idea how it works, but it does have a pull to it.
It does. It really does. I mean, this is just way different from ships that I've seen. Hey, look, Gildy, I wanted to say thank you for your aid back there. Because, I blacked out, and if you hadn't to come along when you did, Tubana would have the last laugh on that. I just wanted to say that things are only going to get more hairy out there, and I feel a lot safer with you by my side. And while I did get a few hits in, I didn't leave that experience empty-handed. So I'm figuring out how these abilities work.
I'm very interested to see those abilities in the future. But you're welcome. It was no thoughts in my mind let me rephrase that. There were not really any thoughts going through my mind when I found your unconscious form and Tubana hovering over it. I just acted. And I know that you would do the same for me, without a thought. I know your character. But just if you have my back, I'll have yours, okay?
You're a good person, Gildy. Thank you.
I try to be.
And just to segue that into her powers, for level 2, she got Temporal Anomaly, which chose Distracted Futures. And basically, I can project brief glimpses into the future, into the minds of others, which grants +2 circumstance bonus to the next ally's attack roll. I can spend a resolve point to boost that to 2 allies' attack rolls before my next turn. I also got a spell and a cantrip. I got Detect Magic and Share Memory, which is just Mind Meld. Think Vulcans.
All right, well, that leaves Sayun.
All right. Well, for Sayun's part, he does not go and talk to any of his compatriots. He's got a lot on his mind, and he wants to sift through it all. He wants some quiet time, some alone time. So he retires to his quarters, and he sits down, and he starts cleaning and and polishing and sharpening his sword, because it's just a menial thing that he does as a ritual, just in order to kind of clear his head and collect his thoughts. And as he is sharpening his sword, he's thinking back to that dream, and he's thinking back to the memory that it evokes of Naramshir and Naramshir's words, and talking about the power that is within the void and how it actually can be changed and used for good. And Seyun is just sort of meditating on that and thinking about his desire to continue his master's work, and he has this opportunity now, and he can feel this entropy that he has inside him, and he's starts trying to just sort of manipulate it, right? And he starts, kind of trying to channel this entropy into something tangible, something physical. Entropy is energy that unmakes things, right? Is the energy of decay and chaos. And he wants to take that and invert it into something positive, because that is Seyun's vanguard aspect, right? Is inversion. And so as he's trying to play with this energy, he manages to he can feel him moving this energy onto sort of the molecules of his skin, and instead of it deteriorating, it's reinforcing kind of the strength of his own skin. And actually that will be how he manifests Mitigate, which is a Vanguard class feature that lets you reduce the damage that you take from an attack by spinning that entropy, right? So you channel that entropy and move it in such a way as to reduce the damage you take. However, as he's getting comfortable with that sensation, that feeling, and calling upon that when he needs to, he looks over to the shield that he got from the Besmaran pirate. And he thinks about it, and he thinks, if there is some way to take this and manifest it even more tangibly. And he holds out his arm, and he concentrates on pushing all of that entropy into a solid form, right? To take those molecules of entropy and then invert them in such a way as to create something solid. And eventually, a shield made of pure entropy, he manifests on his arm, and he can dismiss it, and he can recall it at will. And he feels very pleased with himself that he is able to do this, that he is adapting and figuring out ways to manifest this entropy. And here's the thing, what's it called? Discipline, right? So, I mean, through discipline of his mind, he manifests this entropy shield, which is the Vanguard discipline that I took at level 2. And in the process of sharpening the shit out of this sword, I have also taken my skilling weapon up to level 2.
Nice.
And that's actually with the build points and stuff that you get with a skilling weapon. I added
another feature from Enhanced.
Another feature from Enhanced, yep, that I really like. And let's see, I added the I can't remember the name of it. It's a modification. It's a perk. That's what it is. It's a perk of the weapon. And I added Destructive, which actually just increases the damage die by 1 step. So now we're swinging on a D8 on that bad boy.
Yeah.
And that's all the neat shit that I can do at this level.
That's pretty good. Pretty solid. And you can detect evil now.
Oh yeah, detect evil from the The free archetype.
Yeah.
Yep, disciple of the stillness. The stirrings of the black butterfly have awakened inside of Seiyun.
Well, that's, you guys gave us a lot to chew on. So I think what we'll do is we'll see you, and we'll come back later and figure out what you're going to do next.
This long, everybody.
Yeah. It's 2 long episodes in a row. Don't get used to it. All right, we'll see you. Bye.
We'll see you.
We'll see you.
Thanks for listening to the STF Network. If you want to hear more from us, check out our other Starfinder and Pathfinder shows at the STFnetwork.com. That's the STFnetwork.com. And support us on Patreon to listen to our bonus podcasts, including our homebrew adventures and Tom Talks, our behind-the-scenes show. Stay groovy, possums.